Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from the studios of Video Sign Incorporated. That's right, no studio today. It's a greasy, snowy mess out there, and it wasn't that great yesterday, so I decided to do it from the studios right here, right now. That's it. But I will be back in the studio probably tomorrow for Absolutely. I anticipate being back in the studio tomorrow for the show. I mean, in this weather, if you don't have to go out, why bother? It's cold out there, it's miserable, it's damp. It's just a big mess. Let it clear up a little bit. But Wednesday, tomorrow, I'll be in the studio for Absolutely, and Thursday and Friday, I anticipate being there. Now we're moving into the city council agenda for next week. Believe it or not, there's another city council meeting next week, and we have to get to the agenda. Dave Wheeler should be coming in the studio on Monday to talk about that, but we'll see how it goes. Sunday is supposed to bring another big snowstorm, so who knows about Monday. But we'll try our best to get in the studio. Let me put it that way. We'll try our best to get in the studio for Monday. It's not that I don't want to go in the studio. I want to go in, but this weather, it's crazy. It's crazy. So we have 26 degrees out there when I get up at 5 in the morning. The heat is on, baby. It's getting warmer. That's balmy compared to the teens that we've been getting. And in Florida and Carolina, it might be considered a warm day, the way they're going. Let's see, the barometer is holding steady at 29.36, so I anticipate a so-so day today. It's like I anticipated overcast, not that great, but you got to watch out there now because all this snow and that is starting to melt, and it's getting slippery out there. There's light dusting of snow this morning, but nothing major. I might go and do a little cleanup on aisle 5 over here. But other than that, it's not too bad. Now, there's bands of snow streaming down from the lakes. Lake Erie's 96% covered. So we're not going to get as much lake effect as we used to, but we're still going to get it. So before we get into the show, let's get to our sponsors. And they are Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And of course, we're getting a little break in the cold here. And eventually we're going to go right straight through to spring. Let's face it, we have 4 weeks of winter left here. The groundhog said so, and I agree with them. So you still have time to get your car in and get it all checked out because we're going to get some inclement weather. We know it. You don't want to be broke down when the weather's crappy. So why don't you just get your car into Wild Bill's, let Ken Hunter take a look at your systems, check your car from top to bottom, front to back, just get it done. Make sure it's running A1. You don't want to get stuck in this weather. CAA is a pain in the neck. It's better just to have your car run and run right. And that's why you want to go to Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. They take care of everything. Suspension, brakes, heating system, cooling system. And make sure your battery's up to snuff. You want to make sure your battery's good. And they're going to make sure that they're all A1. Number one, they have a full body shop if you get in a wreck. You take your car in, they'll give it back to you in showroom condition. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. WildBillsAuto.ca is the website. Oh, there goes my partner. You can hear him, Mr. Butters. There he is. He's checking in to make sure the broadcast is going okay. He's our resident expert on the broadcast. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. Don't forget to go to their website. And while you're there, wildbillsauto.ca, jump over to YouTube. Go to my YouTube channel, Paul Lemire, 4973. Subscribe. It costs you nothing. It's free. You can comment. You can leave thumbs up. But it helps the algorithm, helps to get the show out there. We have an election coming up. We all want to be tuned in. We want to have faith that we get the good city council. We get the right city council. And we can only make that happen if you get out and vote. Okay, let's get into the show. Viewer comments. January 29th show, that's last Thursday. The Iceman, 69. I was denied in July to speak. Now, I was talking about Jody Burdett being denied the ability to speak at City Council, a definite violation of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. You have a reason. You have, if you're not disruptive or anything, there's no reason you can't speak at council. Yet this council with Fritz von Cario bringing the motion told him he couldn't delegate at council. And the Iceman 69, Johnny, was denied in July to speak. He wanted to speak before council. They told him no. Now, I don't get this. Do you get this? I don't get it. Why would they say no to a taxpayer speaking at a city council meeting? If you're belligerent, you're swearing, you're being a jerk, you're disruptive, that's one thing. I can understand them throwing you out. There are rules of decorum, although council doesn't usually follow them a lot of times anyway. No clapping, they all clap all the time. I mean, yeah, but still, as long as you're not doing anything against any rules, then you should be able to speak. This was vindictive. This was a reprisal from Councillor Fritz Van Cario because he doesn't like Jody Burdett, because he claims Jody Burdett made these vexatious and frivolous IC complaints. But who's he to say they're frivolous or vexatious? If a resident, a taxpayer, wants to lodge a complaint against a councillor, it's there for them to do. That's why it's there. The only one who can deem it vexatious or frivolous is, well, nobody really. The integrity commissioner, all he can say is, I uphold it or I deny it. He shouldn't have any opinion on it. It's the taxpayer's right to do this. Now, council, to try to prevent it, put a $500 fee on it, figuring that would dissuade people from actually lodging complaints. Well, Jody Burdett didn't care about that. He paid it. So where's the problem? He's going by their rules, doing what he is legally allowed to do, according to his rights, and they're mad at him. And this is what they do to him. Well, John Ringo Beam, the Iceman 69, says, I was denied in July to speak. So he's just telling us, hey, Jody's not the only one. There's other people who are denied the right, like the women in Ontario say no. At Dave Wheeler, 1158, very bad precedent indeed. And yes, I agree, Wheels, 100%. Very bad precedent, because if they could tell Jody he can't speak, they can tell anybody they can't speak. If they don't like what I say, they won't let me speak. If they don't like what you say, they won't let you speak. But that's not the way it should go, right? They work for us. And we should have a right to voice our opinion on different items that they're voting on. And if we don't have that right, then really it's a dictatorship. So it's a very bad precedent, and you may not care for Jody. You may not like what he's doing or what he has to say, which is irrelevant in the whole situation. Who cares what you think? It's about his right. You may not agree with him, but you should give him at least the right to disagree with council and lodge complaints and everything else, if he's doing it under the guise of their mandates and their rules. So you have to support him, whether you like him or not. And then just to throw out his delegation because you don't like the guy on council, well, you know what? That has nothing to do with anything. And the heck with it. On the January 30th show, Penny Brookified, been a while since Burdett was on the show. Any plans to invite him on soon? Hope your mom is doing well. Thank God it's Friday. So that was last Friday's show. Let's go through it. Yes, I've talked to Jody Burdett. He will be on the show. I don't know when. He said he has a lot of stuff on his plate right now. Whatever that means, I don't know. But he said as soon as he gets through everything he's got to do, he is going to come on the show. So anticipate him being on the show sooner than later. I would say in the next maybe 3 weeks. I'm going to invite him on. So that's that. Hope your mom is doing well. She's doing fantastic. 100 years old, 100 and a half now, heading into 101 in August. She's doing great. I was there playing cribbage with her. She beat me to the 2 games we played. Yeah, she's doing fine. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Not many of us get to hang around with our parents till they're 100 years old and they're still with it. That's a blessing. I said a lot of my friends are orphans. Their parents are both dead, right? I'm not an orphan yet. I'm not an orphan yet. Appreciate it, and I'm lucky to have her around for that many years. At 881 Slick, please sit down and shut up moment. This is one of my favorite things to say. Sit down and shut up. Should have been Cario getting up and talking about Trump. Yeah, Cario, yeah, he had to get up. These TDS people cannot hold their tongue. The coop down south. He said it right in the meeting, in the city council meeting. And talking about Trump, these mayors had love their bootlicker city council members. So there you go. There you go. And I think that what he was talking about there was them following Carrio's vote to not let Burnett speak. The only one that was against it was Councilor Lococo. And that was about it for the comments. Don't forget to leave your comments on the video on YouTube. Leave your comments. I always read them on air. I appreciate your comments. The more, the merrier. Let's get something going here with everybody being involved. I mean, we have an election, like I said, coming up, and a lot of stuff going on with city council meetings and everything else. So your attention would be well appreciated to this show. Okay, so I got to hand out an apology. Yeah, I know. I feel bad too because when you neglect someone or not include them in things, you feel bad. I feel real bad. So yesterday I talked about Groundhog Day and Mayor Jim hiding in a box down the park with the falls as a backdrop and him coming out of the box as just as a groundhog and having a big celebration like they do in Nobbler's Gob or Gobbler's Knob and up in Wyerton. I mean, we missed out on this boat. Niagara Falls should have this. So I'm encouraging our entertainment directors, would-be city councilors, Dabrowski and Patel to get on this. But who I forgot, I mentioned everybody. The only guy I forgot was the Penguin. I forgot to include him in the celebration. I mean, imagine of all the people in the winter in a winter festival, I forgot the Penguin. I apologize. I apologize. I've corrected this now. Very, very bad faux pas. And I would definitely have him front and center with the groundhog and the dignitaries and the penguin and the squirrel. I'd have them all there. The only one that won't be there is Lori Lococo because she's doing her job and out there working. She don't have time to play around with these events. She's working for us. Okay, speaking of weather, Lake Erie is 96% covered in ice. Lake Ontario is about 38% covered. Why is this important? Well, because like I was talking about, that sunny day, that's a beautiful day when all of a sudden it starts snowing like crazy and it dumps a couple inches of snow in like 20 minutes. That's called a lake effect storm. And that comes over, the lake effect snow comes over the open water, picks up steam. The water's warmer than the air, picks up steam, picks up moisture, and then it gets over land and dumps. The way it works. Like a big pump. Well, guess what? You put a cap on that pump and it's over. You don't get that lake effect snow. So it freezes out the lake effect snow. Good news for us as we break from these freak storms and get into nicer weather. They can pop up anytime, but they're gone for the most part. 4 weeks until spring. The rodent said so. Enjoy, and you can notice, you can see that the amount of daylight every day is stretching out. Now it gets dark at around 5:30, 20 to 6. So we're gaining 2 or 3 minutes a day of daylight, which is good. More time for the sun to stay out, more time for daylight. And eventually by the end of February, we're going to be getting dark at 6:30. We're going to pick up another, half an hour, 45 minutes at least. And then we get into March and we put the clocks ahead. I wish we wouldn't. I wish they'd get rid of that nonsense, but that's not up to me. And of course, the budget was passed last week. You remember the budget that was passed. We talked about it on Tuesday. We talked about it on Thursday. We talked about it on Friday. We talked about it yesterday. And the results are still working their way into the news. Headline in the review: not a lot of wiggle room. Niagara Falls Library may cut services despite funding boost. Okay, a great headline. And I had to go read the story, of course, because it had to do with the library funding, which is over $6 million at this point. And I really don't understand why the library services in Niagara Falls need $6 million. Much like I don't understand why HR, human resources in the city, need $5.5 million. I said they could probably cut $3 million out of that if they really looked at the department. It's way above what any industry has for their HR department. Yet here we are passing a budget. I think it was 5.7 million or something like that. But either way, I don't understand the library costing us 6 million either. But it's like that every year, and 70% of it or something is wages. I looked into it. It seemed like a very, very high amount for wages to run a library. But when I looked into it further, it appears that services such as libraries are heavy on wages and benefits. So I don't know if they're out of the realm, and I don't know how much to be cut. But that's why I'm always talking about Doge, having somebody go in and see what do we really need in Niagara Falls for a library service. Now, Councillor Strange brought this up with them leasing the building for the Stanford Library, about the cost of that, and he was right. Yeah, Councillor Strange was right. It should be looked at. That lease seems out of whack, and it costs $2 or $3 million to renovate it to be able to be a library at capital costs. So, I mean, these are the things we have to look at. And I know councillors like Mike Strange and these guys come up with these ideas every once in a while to save taxpayers money. Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, but we hear about them once and then we don't hear about them anymore. That's the end of the discussion. Why isn't anybody looking into this more? So the library is one of those ones I would love to see what they need. But it is what it is. We're giving them the money. But they requested 3.5% increase. Eclipse Jimmy took 0.5% from them in the budget. And then Scrooge McNewestag hit them for another 0.5%. Now, see, this is the kind of thing that doesn't make any sense to me. We have a library there, and it acts as a lot of different things, right? It acts as a warming center, a cooling center in the summer, warming center in the winter. People go there because they might not have access to a computer, they might not have access to anything. So it does a lot of different jobs. And when I look at it, I go, well, 0.5% they cut Scrooge McNewestag, and they did it in the same breath that they gave the hub $700,000. Go figure that one out. Now that 0.5% saved the city $57,000 in a $200 million budget. Whoop-de-doo. But you're blowing money like crazy on other things. Why are you cutting the library for $57,000? And to put it in the squirrel parlance, because they love to do this to minimize stuff, but only when they want to do it. This represents 96 cents. That $57,000 Scrooge McNewestag cut off represents 96 cents a year on your tax bill. Are you kidding me? And that's putting it in Tiffany Clark's parlance. She loves to do this. When they want something to stay, they put it in cents per year, cost per year. And it's so trivial. You say, well, why are we bothering with this? But yet when they want to take it off, they don't do that. But that's what it is. 96 cents a year. I figured it out according to Tiffany Clark, the squirrel, according to her numbers. Now, why would they even do this? I don't know. I don't know. She had her hand up Scrooge McNuestic like a peacock with her tail up. You know, talking about this money represent from the budget, and and they're going to save 96 cents a year for every taxpayer. And to really rub the hub money, innovation hub money, and Jim used them as example, Mayor Jim, of being an organization that didn't look for an increase. Of course they didn't. They're getting $700,000 free when they're running a $1.3 million deficit. Why would they ask for more? They're happy with 700 grand. It pays everybody there. The Make Work program it pays everybody there for another year on taxpayer dollars. Does Jimmy think we're all stupid? He must think we're stupid. He's got to think we're a bunch of dummies in this city. It's a never ending source of amusement for me, these people. Now, if a Scrooge McNuestig really wanted to hammer somebody, why not hammer the hub instead of putting your hand up? I mean, they told everybody that 36% of their business is not even from Niagara Falls. So we should be taking 36% off of their $700,000 tab and giving them like 400 grand and keeping the other 300,000 and putting 57,000 of it to the library and maybe giving the rest of it back to us. Never thought of that. Never thought of that. No. Councilor Coco gave up and gave her opinion and her views on the library. She sits on the library board. She knows what she's talking about. Everything is up. Cost of everything. We should know that from city council. In hard times, more people use the library than ever. It serves as a warming and cooling place during the year. They provide income tax clinics for residents. Not to mention the library service provide the library services, all the books and all the staff and research. They'll help you when you need it. I mean, and I'm not making a case for the library. I still think those should go in there and find out what the hell's going on with it. But when it comes to this, they're going to give it the money anyway, 0.5%, 96 cents a year for every taxpayer. I mean, come on. But no, we always have them have a McScrooge on the council, and they pick on these places. I don't know why. When there's so much more money there, they could find and really go to. Maybe they're easy pickings. I don't know. Oh man, oh man. I mean, the library really should have came in with a one-page thing like this and said, "I'll give us $6 million." And they would have said, "Okay," because that's what the Innovation Hub does. Some baloney thing they made up at they went to I don't know, Strata West. They don't go to cheap places for lunch. They go to Strata West and they all sit there and pat each other on the back, and then on a napkin they write this. Okay, what are we going to show for this budget? What are we going to show? Okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to, and then and then they present it on a piece of paper. Oh my goodness, my goodness. And I said city council's mean spirited a lot of times. Nah, they are. I meant it. And I don't even have any affinity for the library. I haven't stepped foot in 30 years. But to save $1 a year on our tax bill, they're not going to give them the money they need to operate the way they say they need to operate. I don't know. I think there's a lot more cuts that we could make in the budget to help the people of Niagara Falls without hammering them for $1. Thanks to Ray Spiteri for the article in the Niagara Falls Review. Now, someone told me, because I always complain about the Innovation Hub, somebody told me, you should file an FOI complaint if you're so concerned in that. Yeah, sure. Sure. But when I looked up filing an FOI against the Innovation Hub, here's the information I could get: grant agreements and funding details, reports submitted by the Hub to the city, correspondence between city officials and Hub leadership. Well, grant agreements and funding details, we see that at city council meetings. So an FOI on that would be useless. I already got that. They get $700,000. They say it's from the casino funds, right? And they say it's not out of the tax levy. Well, yeah, it is. It is. You can't say that, because guess what? That 700,000 could go right to our tax bill and drop it from 2.43 with another 2% on the capital budget to 1.43 and 2%. It could drop it by 1%. So don't let them tell you that it's coming from the casino funds and not the taxpayers. Every cent that they take comes from the taxpayers. Make no mistake about it. Somehow it affects the taxpayers. I don't care if it's out of reserves or anything. That's our money. We are the city. So don't give me that baloney. Report submitted by Hub to the city. Well, we've seen the reports, the one-page report. Here's our stuff from last year. No, if we're going to get reports, we need their books. We need to see their books. But if they haven't submitted them to the city, then they won't be there under a Freedom of Information Act. And if they were going to submit them to the city, they'd submit them publicly so that we could see. That's called transparency. And the last one, correspondence between city officials and Hub leadership. Well, I don't know what I would find out with that. Correspondence. What kind of correspondence? Emails back and forth? What correspondence? And how is that going to open their books for us? So, yeah, you can file a Freedom of Information Act, but you have to be specific what you want to see. You want to see what their correspondence is? You go ahead. But the rest, we already know. We want to see the book. City Council, if they haven't opened their books to the city, they wouldn't be there for discovery. What we saw at City Council meetings covers the grant agreements and funding details. We all know that. Reports have been submitted. Those are 50-page presentation and correspondence. I don't think it would provide much insight. We need council, our city council, to demand their books before one red cent is handed over to them. It doesn't seem to be a concern of council. Council has leverage, and it's called $700,000 of taxpayers' money. No books, no money. That's the leverage they have. They want to use it? Great. If they don't, we sit here talking about it till the cows come home. And while I'm on the library, you may be interested in this. They're having watch parties for the Winter Olympics. That's right. They'll be showing the opening ceremonies, women's hockey, men's hockey at the Victoria branch. So grab your red and white and go hang out. Others are going to be there watching the events. Check out their website for more information. Niagara Falls Public Library.com, NFPL.com, events calendar. Who knew they did this? That's pretty cool for people who want to get together and celebrate Canada and the Olympics, or maybe somebody, if your TV breaks down, you can't afford a new one, you can go to the library and watch all the good stuff. That's pretty cool. Never knew that. Thought I'd mention that. Did anybody with any kind of sanity actually watch the I Hate Trump Awards the other night? Probably not. But from all the media that I've seen, it was the whole show was about hating Trump. I mean, these left-wing loonies, these Hollywood elites, they are whacked out of their mind. And all they talked about was hating Trump. Down with ICE. They hate Trump. Some awards were thrown in there somehow. Some wacky women were there with these goofy outfits on. But the one big offender of the night was some goofball named Trevor Noah. I have no idea who he was. I never even heard of this guy. But one thing's for sure, his slanderous rantings about Trump that night mean he's going to get hit with a lawsuit that'll put him in Stephanopoulos territory. And if you remember George Stephanopoulos from, what is he from, NBC or one of those channels, he was talking about Trump and he was libelous and scandalous or something. I don't know. But anyway, Trump sued him. He got 15 million bucks from him. His dopey comment, this Trevor Noah, whoever this guy is, said artists coveted the award, Grammy Award, almost as much as Trump wants Greenland, which makes sense because Epstein Island is gone, and now he needs a new one to hang out with Bill Clinton. Now, what that has to do with music awards is beyond me. And why he would even say that, it's crazy. Now, Trump reacted within hours, posting on Truth Social that he would be sending his lawyers to sue Noah for making a false and defamatory statement. Trump insisted he had never been to Epstein Island nor anywhere close. He added that he'd never been accused of going to the property, not even by the fake news media. So, yeah, Trump's going to sue him. And Trevor Noah's going to get hit with a slander suit. Trump added a warning to Noah. Get ready, Noah. I'm going to have some fun with you. And he'd better get his wallet out. This could be a big one. It cost Stephanopoulos $15 million. This Trevor Noah better start making some big money after that. And the money that he got from Stephanopoulos was given to the Trump Presidential Library Fund. So he didn't keep it himself. He gave it to the Presidential Library when they're ready to build the Trump Presidential Library. You know, people like Trevor Noah, they have to be idiots. Do they really believe that with the Epstein files in the hands of the Democrats through the 4 years of crooked Joe Biden and his gang of criminal elitists, that if something was there to prove Trump guilty, they wouldn't have used it against Trump in the election? Seriously, they tried to kill him twice. You think they wouldn't use the information if they had it? They had access to all of the Epstein files. You think they wouldn't use them? I mean, seriously, Trevor Noah's mentally ill. They're all mentally ill. The whole bunch of them, Springsteen, De Niro, Rosie O'Donnell, and all the Ellen DeGenerate, all of them. TDS is real, and these people are infected, but oh boy, I can't wait to see the lawsuit come out on against this goofball. Now, before we get over to Fraud of Soda, I want to talk about my sponsors. And one of them we talked about, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. The second one is Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. If you haven't had a pizza from Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue, my suggestion to you is go get one. ASAP. You like pizza, you like it consistent, and you like it because they know what they're doing. This is your place. This is the place you want to go. Guess what? They use the freshest ingredients. The Mancini family recipe for sauce and crust. They use a blend of mozzarella and brick cheese. Put it on in the right ratios. Put on fresh toppings. Cook it just right, and you got yourself an A1 pizza, second to none in the city of Niagara Falls. You can't go wrong. Try Pete's Works. You're going to love it. It's one of my favorites. They also have chicken wings. They have chicken parm sandwiches. They have steak and cheese sandwiches, panzerotti, fries, steak and cheese poutine, you name it. They've got it all there. You're not going to go wrong. You're definitely not going hungry. They're open till 2 in the morning, Friday and Saturday for your convenience, midnight during the week. And they've added a new location, Thorlstone Road and Kaler Road in the northwest part of the city for your convenience. Give them a call today, 905-374-2222, or you can just go to their website, Pete'sPizzaVictoria.ca. You can order off the website. They use all the delivery services. You can't go wrong. Get out there, grab a nice pizza. You know you want one on a Tuesday night. Hey, I do. I want a pizza all the time. So I'm a repeat offender over there. Support our small businesses. They support the city. Thank you so much. Have a great pizza from Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Okay, over to Friday Soda, where Waltz is starting to backpedal, waiting for his imminent arrest and and allowing his police force to help ICE if called upon now. He's saying he can help. And you've got Ellison. Who else you got over there? Omar. Oh, Omar, yeah. She's passed the bills that actually led to the fraud. And in her district, there's more frauds than ever. So she's going. Waltz is going. This Frey guy, the mayor, he's going. They're all going. So Trump said he wants to scale back and eventually pull out, letting the state authorities deal with illegals while the feds oversee their operations. And this is going to allow resources to go to other states where their services are needed. And that makes a lot of sense. So Waltz is saying he'll help with all this. He'll help with all this because they're going down. They've arrested so many people already. They've got all the proof they need. They're all going down. And it's a matter of fact. Now, as the ICE moves around the country, doing their job, Tom Homan is there directing everything. Trump shattered deportation records by the end of his first year, as more than 2 million illegal aliens have left the U.S., including 1.6 million who voluntarily self-deported before they got caught. In addition, over 500,000 deported. Another 500,000 illegal aliens have been arrested, not just deported, but they've been arrested since Trump took office. And officials say this is just the beginning. There's lots more. They've got 20 million people to go through. There are 70,000 illegals in ICE detention centers waiting to be processed right now. And as well, they've cut off the immigrants coming into the country from the south. The Darien Gap, a pathway through Panama for illegals wanting to make their way to the Mexico-U.S. border, has seen a 99.9% decrease in illegals. Virtually as nobody is going through the Darien Gap to get to America anymore. They know they won't make it in. It's not worth the trek. But there are still illegals testing the border every day. 10,000 attempted border crossings in December of 2025. So they're still trying to get across, but they aren't getting in. That number is going down every month. The average for the year, 14,984 per month, which is a huge decrease from what was coming over that border, over 1 million when Biden was running the show. So they're not getting in. They're trying, but they're not getting in. Now, they're not totally out of Soda yet. They're still working in their ICE, but they are getting out and going to other things. And he said he's going to rain hell down on Boston because that's another hot spot. And they're going to go in there and take care of that, even though their mayor said they won't let him in. And the same with Chicago, their mayor won't let him in. All these other clowns won't let him in. But at the end of the day, they're going. It's going to happen. Now, the left-wing Democrats who are encouraging all these protesters, and actually they're getting paid, a lot of these protesters, they're pushing towards a civil war beginning on the streets of the sanctuary city states and spreading across the nation. So this is what they want to see, a civil war. That's all they're pushing for. Now get this. In Long Beach, California, the mayor of Long Beach is calling for all 55 gangs in the city. Now, can you imagine this? There are 55 separate gangs in Long Beach, California, in the city. 55 gangs. Now, what this dum-dum wants to do, and he went on a video talking to them directly. He wants them to meet with him and devise a plan to stop ICE agents from deporting illegals. So he's getting these gang members, the gang bangers, the guys who murder people on the street, who deal drugs, criminals, all of them. He wants to get them together to help him keep ICE agents off the streets of Long Beach. He wants to get them to help the city stop the ICE agents from deporting illegal alien criminals. And he made a public announcement. He wanted to meet with them. He asked them to join him for a meeting on Monday. Maybe it was yesterday. I'm not sure. To talk about it. He called on Filipino gangs, the Pacific Island gangs, the black gangs, the Cambodian gangs, anybody, any gang in the city. Where you got a gang, you're invited to go to this. The only ones he didn't invite were the white supremacist gangs. He didn't invite them. But every other gang in the city, 55 of them. And so, this is nonsense. I mean, this is what we see being encouraged by the Democrats. It's definitely sedition, according to any definition of it, encouraging an insurrection and basically a war on the streets between federal agents and street gang members. I mean, drug dealing gangbangers who have no regard for law or civil society. Encouraging them to fight with the federal agents is totally wacky. You support gangs and illegals before law and order. And that's what Minnesota does. They're supporting gangs and illegals and these people who ripped off Minnesota for $19 billion, they figure. They're supporting them over law and authority. Yeah, over law and order. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. If I told anybody that's what's happening, how could they believe this? How could they not think this is insane? But yeah, it's happening. Now, the mayor, of course, after he did this little video and everybody started questioning him about it, went viral, started backpedaling, saying he never called for violence. So the mayor gets gangs who are inherently violent. That's what they do. They use violence to forward their agenda of dealing drugs and crime. They'll kill anybody, collateral damage, if you will. But he's calling on them to come out, confront federal agents, but be nonviolent, be nice. I mean, is this insane? This is nuts. I mean, gang violence is a reality in these cities. They kill children, they kill families, they decimate families with drugs and crime. It's nuts. So some people are saying, because it's so insane that it's hard to even fathom somebody doing this. It's just way out there in left field. But if you're thinking about this as a gang leader, would you show up to this meeting? Think about it. All the gang leaders in one place, ICE swarms in, arrests them all, and that's the end of that. I mean, they got to be thinking the gang leaders, the sting operation by police. So there's no way any gang member is going to attend a meeting like that. Guaranteed. That's like asking to get arrested. We live in a wacky world, my friends. We live in a wacky world. And I want to go to now. What's going on over here? Back in Canada. Let's go to Canada here. There's a small separatist group in Alberta openly seeking support from what the left-wing lunatics call a hostile Trump administration to break up the country. That's what they're saying. They're going to Trump to break up the country. They boast about meeting with U.S. officials and asking for help to arrange a multi-billion-dollar credit facility that would make it easier for Alberta to quit Canada. That's what the left wing are charging this separatist group of doing. You know what? That's what separatist groups do, don't they? They want to separate, so they go looking for people who will help them separate, or deals that will help them. So, yeah, okay, I get it. I get it. Yeah, sounds right to me. But the Karen Premier of BC, David Eby, said they are cozying up to foreign government for the purpose of dividing the nation, and that amounts to treason. So he's saying this small group is treasonous. Now, David Eby, the Premier of BC, is being called like a kook over all this. Using the word treason is provocative, even inflammatory, and may just ruffle feathers in Alberta, especially coming from someone sticking their nose into Alberta business. Like, what does he have to say in BC? I mean, having a couple meetings at the State Department in Washington of a separatist group doesn't exactly qualify as treason. Promoting a referendum about independence doesn't qualify as treason. Now, of course, the left-wing pundits are all over this, especially since the Trump administration has been calling for Canada to be the 51st state, and the U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said Alberta would be a natural partner for the U.S. Yeah, you guys would be a natural partner for us. And any authorities in the U.S. welcoming the separatists and dialoguing with them, well, doesn't make people happy. Doesn't make people happy, except in Alberta. They're all happy. Of course, Carney's hardcore statement, he expects the U.S. to respect Canada's sovereignty, means absolutely nothing. Eby's charges of treasons means absolutely nothing. What does mean something is a referendum, and Danielle Smith has a desire to take Alberta and its oil minerals and wealth across the border to a country that will appreciate them. Now that means something. Smith would never condemn the separationists. Alberta has put up with 10 years of Trudeau alienating Albertans every chance they got. She says 30% of Albertans have lost hope, and that's about 1 million people. And she's not about to marginalize or demonize 1 million people who are looking for a referendum to separate. And all of them are her fellow Albertans, so she gets it. And my thing is, stick to your guns, Premier Smith. Albertans are not the only ones who have been screwed by 11 years of liberal abuse. What do you think? Treason or no treason? What do you guys out there think? Is going to the States and talking to the representatives about possible separation and about maybe some funding money to help them separate, is that treason? Let me know in the comments what you think. I'd like to hear what you think about that. Now, what else we got? Well, we got a few more minutes here. Let's get over to Iran and what's going on over there. Because, I mean, an attack is imminent. Let's face it. Something's going to happen. Something's got to give over there. The people are done. The government is just about done. Iran's still threatening and threatening to blow up all the American ships and everything else if they try anything. So we've got a lot of stuff going on over there. And the U.S. is poised to strike. They've got everything there. U.S. Abraham Lincoln came in from the South China Sea. It's sitting waiting. The warships are there. The planes are there. Everything is there to give Iran a good slap. And the leadership in Iran is increasingly worried as U.S. strikes will embolden the anti-government protesters and send the public back into the streets. The IRGC has been suppressing the protesters and killing them, actually. But as the United States gets more involved, these protesters become more emboldened, and they start getting back out on the streets and causing trouble again. But as far as the people, protesters, they're not afraid anymore. They're not afraid. Trump told them help is on the way. They're not afraid because they know that a regime change is imminent. An attack by the U.S. combined with demonstrations by angry people could lead to the final collapse of the ruling system, with Pahlavi waiting in the wings to take over if the current regime collapses, which it's on its way to. The U.S. has declared the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps a terrorist group. Now, Trump, on his part, wants to talk and find a solution without a war, but warned that bad things will happen if Iran has a sizable amount of nuclear material and they don't stop their nuclear program. They still have 972 pounds of highly enriched uranium, enough for 10 bombs. And it says it's not going to transfer the uranium out of the country and will not agree to limit the range of its missiles. So the supreme leader, Sayyid al-Khamenei, said that the Americas should know that if they want to start a war, this time it will be a regional war. In other words, you bomb us, and there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be involved, not just Iranians, not just Iran. They got proxy groups in Lebanon. They got proxy groups in Yemen. They got Hamas still rolling around somewhere out there. So they said it won't be just here. You're going to have Syria, Lebanon, Yemen. I'm going to call that Yemen. They're all going to be involved. So it's not just going to be against Iran. It's going to be a regional war. And under that threat, Trump said, we'll try to make a deal. But if we can't, we'll definitely find out if Khomeini is right or wrong about it being a regional war. I mean, the U.S. has a lot of firepower in that area. Iran would be well off to make a deal as the country collapses. The regional players would like to see Iran's power diminished, especially with the use of their proxies in the area, because they're a never-ending source of grief for a lot of these countries. Now, they don't admit they want a weaker Iran. You talk against Iran, the people there, the factions there think you're with pro-Israel. And they don't want them to think that because they're all Muslims of some sort or another. But they would like to see Iran's power diminished. And Iran really is basically everybody's pain in the butt. And the sooner they're put in line, the better for everybody in the Middle East. But the reality is, to the United States, Iran's building up its nuclear arsenal once again after the bombings there. And these threats and delays are just giving them more time to build. Trump knows it. And it won't be long before he sends in troops to, maybe not troops, but air support, missiles, whatever, and make strikes against the regime. That's going to be the end result of all this, what looks like a standoff for now, but it's only a standoff as long as Trump wants it to be a standoff. Smart answer, regime change. Iran has been making deals with the presidents regarding their nuclear capabilities since 1980. Same regime, same results. They're always working to make nuclear weapons. That's what they're up to. And right now is the time for Trump to end it. Get rid of these people and have a regime change that will work with the United States to make it better for the Iranian people. That's what it's all about. And it's been floating around that for years. Nobody's done anything with it. Floating around through 7 presidents with nothing happening. Now's the time. And before I even just got to do the show, I just saw that Iran has conditionally agreed to hold talks with the U.S. on their nuclear program. Masoud Pezeshkian, the president of Iran, wants to hold talks and has asked President to prepare the ground for fair and equitable negotiations based on the principle of dignity, wisdom, and expediency within the framework of national interests. Well, obviously, they don't have the same perception of what their national interests are and what they should be. So to me, it's just my opinion. It's a delaying tactic by Iran. I mean, they vowed to never give up their nuclear weapons or nuclear program. They vowed that. They vowed to kill the United States, America. They vowed against them. They've had jihads against America, the capitalists. They hate us. And even if they do agree to this, it doesn't do what Trump wants, and that's a regime change so they can work with them. So I don't see that. I see it as a delaying tactic, and at the end of the day, Trump will lay down his terms. Iran will say they're unacceptable. And away we go. Trump's going to go in there and take care of business. And that's the way I see it coming down. Could happen this week. I don't know. We'll see what the meetings hold. But I just don't see Iran giving up everything they wanted to keep and said they would never give up. So to me, I think it's just a delay tactic. Let's delay this while we can get some other stuff going on over here, our act together over here, and then we're going to say no anyway. And that's about it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Been a pleasure to be here speaking with you. The agenda should be out on niagarafalls.ca on Thursday. So open it up, check it out, see what you think. I will give you a scan of it on Friday. I'll give you some things that we're looking probably to talk about, an overview of it. We'll be back on Thursday with Straight Talk Thursday, of course, and tomorrow is Habsolutely, which I intend to be in the studio for. So we'll be doing Habsolutely tomorrow. The Habs had a great week. We'll be talking about that. And that'll be the end to another week. Next week, Monday, if the weather's good, we'll be in the studio doing the City Council agenda review with Dave Wheeler. And then we go through the week as a normal weekend, like we always do. And this is a family day or some holiday pretty soon. Is there a holiday coming up? I don't know. Doesn't matter. I'm going to do a show on the holiday Monday or whatever it is. I'll be doing a show, so don't worry about that. And then as we hit the end of the month, February 27th, I'm headed to Florida. That's right. I'm taking a trip to Florida, St. Pete Beach. So I may do a couple shows down there with St. Pete's Beach in the background. That'll be my studio for the week that I'm there. So we're going to get through this month, get to Florida, come back in March, and then February 12th, we have the regional budget. Bob Gale's going to come down. So we have lots happening between now and then we're into March, and away we go. So I'm telling you, time flies. Time flies. Don't forget to support our sponsors. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Great people, great small businesses in Niagara Falls. Support our small business. They deserve your support. That's it. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from the studios of Video Sign Incorporated, usually out of the studios of 4680qradio.com in downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. I will see you tomorrow, probably in the studio with Habsolutely. God bless you all. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest. I'm going to go out and clean up a little bit of snow here and there, get outside and get some exercise. And we'll see you, Your City, Your Voice, Thursday. Habsolutely tomorrow. Whatever your preference is, tune in. And thank you so much for supporting the show. Don't forget to subscribe. Ciao, ciao.